Hello, people of the internet and the world. How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you guys doing? No, my stream shouldn't be here. That's the wrong screen. Whoops. There we go. Sorry I didn't stream yesterday, guys. I unfortunately was hanging out with my cat, giving him all the pets and the cuddles, and he kind of just sat there, and I sat there, and then I passed out for maybe 12 hours. So yeah, that happened. Missed a few things. You know, it is what it is. You live, take your wins and take your losses. You can't do anything else. Now, what I'm gonna do is catch up on some news. Because well, there's just been a lot of stuff going on, and there's actually a Helldivers 2 update. I'm still pretty well interested in the game, unfortunately. Oh god. Oof. Oof. It's breakfast. Get your breakfast!
Is about to
now we're gonna
explode.
Oh god. Actually, but
Helldivers 2 is about to
let's see what he has to say. Legendary Drops is a pretty great guy.
It's already doing it right now, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today.
This
game has been so disruptive. From its incredible launch to its consistent content updates to its more controversial times with balance as well as accessibility, the game has now started to set off in a new direction. And it has a lot to do with some of the more recent changes at Arrowhead Studios, and I think the studio is aiming for the top. And to be honest with you, I think that's exactly where they're going to go. The game has changed a lot. And to be honest with you, it's exactly what it needed. It's been a long time coming, but I think it's a catalyst for something far greater than a lot of people realize, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So what I want to do is I want to talk about the current state of the game, where the game sits right now, as well as the biggest balance patch that we've seen for the game so far, as well as what all this means for the future of Helldivers 2. Man, that changed the AMR scope.
What did they change? What did they do?
In just one day, Helldivers 2 shot up to almost 100 concurrent players on Steam, almost doubling its numbers. And regardless of what many people may think about the game starting to slow down a little bit,
you're saying it went from 100,000 back to 500,000? That's insane.
One of the most successful live service releases in recent memory. While the game peaked and held high concurrent player numbers of over 450,000 players on Steam and similar on PlayStation,
so
over time, more games have been released. Other live service games have gotten their seasonal updates, and more games are on the way, providing more distractions for players to go play something else for a while. The peak of this game's popularity began to wane down to something a little bit more realistic for games in its genre. If we go and we compare it to similar games of its ilk, we look at Vermintide 2, peaks of 100k concurrent players. Now it sits at about 3k players. Darktide is similar, but slightly higher. Deep Rock Galactic doubles those numbers, but is seeing a peak of 43,000 players due to a recent update. Now, with that said, Helldivers 2 is in a league of its own. 49,000 concurrent players is the lowest point that we've seen on Steam so far, which is absurd when we compare it to other live service games that are similar to it. However, with Helldivers 2's most recent update, we've seen the game surge on a weekday back up to nearly 100,000
so I'm assuming that's on
players, and that's a signal of something greater.
So I'm assuming that when that happened, that was like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday kind of thing.
There are a lot of factors at play that have been building up to this, and we're now starting to see it boil over. While major updates
like they had the Black Hole event and the Termicide and all that stuff, so I'm wondering, like, with the bug fixes, they probably updated a lot of guns that feel a lot better, and like everything that feel like the game should.
One we recently got for Helldivers 2 and future content have a lot to do with players returning to the game, and we'll get to that a little bit later. I want to key in on two things that I think make Helldivers 2 uniquely equipped to bring back a large number of their audience.
Might have to play some Helldivers too.
Most games have to rely on major content updates just to maintain relevancy and bring players back. However, with Helldivers 2, the vast majority of this recent update is bug fixes, balancing, and quality of life. So why are we seeing player numbers almost double in one day? Simple. It's Helldivers 2's approach to live service.
Yep.
If I don't play the game for a month, hell, even a year, there is nothing stopping me from just jumping in and enjoying all the content that the game has to offer.
See, and that's what they've done really well, is they've approached the live service in such a way that you can, like he said, you can come back at any point. But not only that, he's probably going to get into this at some point. But you can drop in, drop out at any point. So you don't have to play for like a whole amount of time. And you're still getting stuff in the background while this is all happening. And you're not pressured. You can still get all the battle passes and stuff that you want later too. Like it's like you can enjoy the game as a game, and there's just going to be more stuff you can get that you're not locked out of later down the line. The only thing you won't have is the super citizen. That's it. That's just be like, hey, yeah, I really appreciate you.
Offer. All prior battle passes are available. I can pick up
Yep,
whatever I
there
want
it
in
is.
progress, and meanwhile, the biggest part of our loadout and progression in stratagems isn't restricted behind any kind of paywall. Helldivers 2
Huge point there. Progression and stratagems aren't locked behind paywalls. Everything that's added, that's a new weapon you can buy for free with the currency in game. You just have to earn it. And usually it'll be a fucking retarded amount. Like it gets up there. Like it's ridiculous sometimes how much some of them can cost. But not, like it's not absorbent. Like you're not forced to pay like a stupid amount that you won't be able to make that in a day. It's good game design. It's catering to the players in a very well-deserved way that we haven't seen in first ever, basically. And I'm here for it.
2 is one of, if not the most lowest commitment, high reward live service games that are on the market, or maybe even ever made. You bought the game, you just have fun playing it. That's it. There's no, oh, I didn't play last season, so I don't have these weapons, and I'm now useless in combat. The only FOMO in Helldivers 2...
Destiny does that. World of Warcraft does that. And those are things that you need to fix. The best example I can say that a game the first to do something like this, Guild Wars 2. Your gear's your gear. You have the stuff.
Is its narrative and taking part in the biggest moments of the game and the biggest moments of the Galactic War. Hell, even if you don't even log in, all of your past rewards for major order victories that have been around since you haven't played, you still get. So even while you're not even playing the game, you're still progressing it. It's amazing. As a player and as a creator, I can't tell you how much I appreciate and how much value I see in a game that is truly drop in, drop out, and low commitment. I'm rewarded. I was rewarded for not playing the game for a few weeks. I took about a month off to play some other games and things like that. We all do that. We all have other games that we like to play. And I was rewarded when I came back to the game for taking that break because I still got to pick up on major orders that had already passed. That feels great. That means I immediately get to hop in, buy some things off of my war bond, and then go right back to playing the game. And I am just so sick and tired of all of these game studios that are out there that are manipulating their content cadence as well as just the gameplay itself to try to make sure that we are locked into their game, that we are always spending, and even more so that if we're not playing, well then we feel bad about it because that means that we're not progressing towards things and we're not able to engage with the content that we want to engage with if we take too long away. They want us to make it feel like we don't have the time to play anything else. And
that is a huge, huge point. They don't want us to feel like we can play anything. They don't want us to feel like we can go and enjoy other things. They want us to keep playing these games forever. Look at Fortnite. My nephew barely plays anything else other than Fortnite. Like, what? He comes here, he plays other stuff, but he'll still be playing Fortnite. Like, those games... Destiny, Fortnite, GTA. People are surprised they're being played forever. And then they look out and they're like, oh shit, we made these forever games, and like these ones that are doing really well are forever games. That's the problem. That's where the problem is. Why isn't anyone buying our games? Well, you made these games that are meant to be played forever.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Thank you.
And I think that's one of the best parts about Helldivers 2 is they remove all of that friction. There is no negative side to you not playing the game outside of missing major moments in the narrative, and that's something that we're going to talk about as well. But with that said, man, it just feels so good. It's so damn refreshing. It's something I couldn't get a perspective on until I actually stopped playing the game for a little while. And man, it's great. But how many times have you guys put off not going back to playing a game specifically because of the fact that you knew how much shit you were going to have to shovel through just to be able to get to?
Biggest example, World of Warcraft. Destiny 2. I can't go back to those games and enjoy them as a player that has played them for years. And I've played them since their inception. I played them up, like, I played World of Warcraft up until Legion. And, like, I've been there. I've been that guy. But at what point, with these skips and everything, do you cater to new players? Because people can't just get into these games anymore. The new player experience is awful. Someone coming in that doesn't have any experience with this stuff and trying to teach them these forever mechanics, stuff from like ages ago, what they can and can't do. And like, sure, World of Warcraft retail has done a great job of like trying to integrate some of that stuff back into it for like the leveling. But it's awful. The gameplay is just, it's not there. Like nothing is what it should be anymore. Everything that made World of Warcraft is dead. The story is not for the people that used to play it. It's as Mon has said before, it's there for the lizard, the scalies, and the furries, man, and the cat boy fucking people. Like it's not it, man. You, like, have some of that stuff for people. Like, just it's World of Warcraft. Big part of that. Warcraft. Think about that. That's besides the point. Those games have devolved from what they were as a live service is the point I'm trying to make here. And it's insane that we have these kind of live service games that, like, they're not trying to cater to their player base. Not even just cater, but just like make their player base have the best experience as a game designer. Because games are supposed to be fun. You're not supposed to hate it. Like, and sure, like you have the people that like myself that like used to go back and do all the raids and stuff, and it's crazy. Not on this account, but long story short,
that you wanted to engage with. Now, with that said, that doesn't.
Sorry, accidentally. I'll go back a little. Helldivers 2 developers are trying to make content players are trying to engage with and keep those players around and keep coming back. And I love this game more than anything. But the only reason I haven't been streaming it nearly as much as I would is because the whole fucking Sony situation. They fucked it. They fucked everything, man. And it sucks. It feels bad. I love this game. This is everything I've wanted in a game. It's so long.
Great. But how many times have you guys put off not going back to playing a game specifically because of the fact that you knew how much shit you were going to have to shovel through just to be able to get towards the content that you wanted to engage with? Now, with that said, that doesn't mean that I haven't been hit with my fair share of FOMO while I've been playing other games or visiting family, but that FOMO is being generated in a way that many other games need to strive for, and it's just wanting to be involved with the community and what's been happening with the game narratively. I tried to take some time out to hop into the game when Helldiver forces were planning to eradicate a termited super colony with an experimental alien weapon, and you can imagine just how much I was kicking myself when I wasn't there when we destroyed that planet, leaving a massive black hole, which some claim isn't actually a black hole, but maybe we'll find more out about that later. Being drawn back into Helldivers 2 through its narrative rather than through artificial means like many other live service games like to employ feels far more rewarding and natural. The game's storylines are crafted in a way that genuinely makes you feel like you have some impact, making you feel like you're part of a larger, evolving universe. Helldivers 2 puts you in with its lore and makes every single event and every single mission feel like it has significant consequences for the world around you. You want to get involved. You want to work with the community. You want to shape the destiny of the game and steer it in the direction that you want to go.
Facts.
But it's not all of these flashy moments that draw players back in. Arrowhead's creativity really shines when they can create some of the most off-the-wall scenarios to inspire the community and drive overall engagement and players coming back to the game. The current major order is to either save a facility for making anti-tank mines or to save a children's hospital. Players are returning to Helldivers 2 to save the kids. It's moments like these that make you want to come back to the game. It's moments like these that you want to be a part of the community. But players also want to keep playing the game because they genuinely don't know what the consequences of their actions are going to be or what the game is going to throw at them next. In contrast, many other live service games that are out there are using these tactics of manipulation, login bonuses, repetitive grinds, and limited time events that pressure players into constantly engaging the game out of FOMO because of things that we earn inside of the game rather than just the experience of playing it. These mechanics make the game feel more of a chore than anything else. Helldivers 2 invites you back in with a nice cup of liberty, no demands, no pressure. You play the game because you want to play the game, not because you feel obligated to. I can't believe that we're having this kind of discussion when we're talking about video games, but it's so worthwhile to have because so many other studios have been headed in the wrong direction, and Helldivers 2 and Arrowhead Studios is not. This is only a perspective that I gained from not playing the game for a few weeks. If it wasn't for that, then I wouldn't even have known just how good it feels to just come back to the game and how easy it is to slip right back into it without any friction. And what I mean by that is that you go and you look at any other game that's out there, not all, I realize that there's a few that are out there. I've played a few of them.
Okay, he knows. But yeah, no, he makes a lot of good points. Sorry, I don't know if I'm going to watch the whole 20 minutes. I think I might. But he makes a lot of good points when it comes down to like a lot of like live service these days. Or this is what it is. Like the Helldivers, like I keep saying, they want their players to like stick around for a long time, but they don't. There's other games out there. There's like they play video games themselves, from what it sounds like. It's like when you think about like League of Legends is another game that's like this, and it's like sure they have FOMO tactics. Don't get me wrong. It's Tencent. I'm not gonna like discredit them or credit them where they're like needed for this kind of stuff. But like when you think about it, like they say come like just play the game. Just come and enjoy our game. And when you're done, you're done. Like you don't have to like just sit there and play forever. They have different modes for you to enjoy. They do like those FOMO tactics, but they don't make you stay. You can come back and there's still stuff like you can come and get 90% of the stuff that they bring out in the game, other than the battle pass and certain skins. And like, don't get me wrong, the RE skin controversy right now, I fucking bro, they're cooked. They're cooked. But like I said, different topic.
Don't have this, but there's so many games that you have to level back up to be able to get access to the content you want to have access to. There's games where you have to grind for weapons and things like that for you to be able to be viable in the content or the new content that they've put into the game. There's all kinds of different barriers to access that are put in place to keep you playing the game longer, and they're doing it in an artificial way, and it doesn't feel good. But with Helldivers 2, it's literally as simple as, oh, hey, there's something cool that's going on with the game.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of that. I'm just going to hop in and play it. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no strings attached or anything like that. You just play the damn game, and that's it. And it shows the flexibility of their narrative and how powerful that can be as a tool for them to bring players back into the game. But even more so, it's just such a stark contrast from the vast majority of games that have been coming out lately. And I love it so damn much, and I want to show some appreciation for it, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. But that's not the only reason why players are coming back to Helldivers 2 right now. What really has players coming back in big numbers is the fact that Helldivers 2 has been hit with the biggest update and the biggest balance patch it's ever seen. And the best part is that this is the first time that we are seeing a balance patch that has a clear direction and feels like it has purpose. Players have been lamenting over the game's previous balance changes and updates.
Okay, we're gonna have to play some
felt like they were targeting the players,
2 today.
not the game. What I mean by that is that whatever the best ways we found to deal with enemies, whether that was weapons or stratagems, Arrowhead kept taking them away and often wouldn't give us any other options. After a while, by attacking the meta, Arrowhead just made meta weapons that much more important because nothing else felt usable. Consistently since release, they kept adding more threats to the game and giving us less ways to be able to deal with those threats, ultimately making the game feel worse to play. The question on many players' minds was why, and with Johan Pielstedt laterally moving over from CEO to Chief Creative Officer, taking the reins of actual development, balance, and
because he created a lot of stuff at the start.
The business side to be managed by their new CEO, we finally found out what was holding Helldivers 2 back, and it was creative leadership. The game blew up too big, too fast, and it left Johan without any ability to steer the ship while wading through all of the business dealings and hiring and restructuring. When you go from making niche games to a global...
Bro, I have to say, Johan is the GOAT. Like, this man, like, I cannot praise a person more in their position of power to be like, yeah, I need to take a step back and go steer here, and someone that is in a better position and is a right person for this position, and a longtime friend and someone I trust is going to be CEO now. I still have power. I'm CFO, CCO, Chief Creative Officer. And now we're seeing what that has done. And that was literally like a month or so ago. So, it's crazy. It is crazy. Just, this man is a great man, and he deserves it. And that's what the sad part is. Like, Sony as their publisher screwed them over by having them region lock everything. And, like, I kind of wish that wasn't a point of contention with this game, because I love this game. I love, like, this. These guys are the new Bungie, basically. These guys, they understand game design. And Arrowhead's going to go far.
Sensation, there's bound to be some growing pains, and Arrowhead Studios is finally now getting out of theirs. Johan obviously cares about the game and its community, and I think it shows very clearly when we look at the game's recent balance patch. Almost every single community issue has been solved. For quality of life, the oddly designed reticles for scopes like have been simplified. Clean and easy to see out of. The restriction on some planets where you could only carry 3 stratagems has been removed entirely. No longer follow players and move randomly. Tremors now stun enemies and won't always happen right on top of you. Enemy armor is now more consistent. Evac missions have been removed from the game. Reworked. And now the game displays shipment lanes so that players can actually see what planets we may lose access to if we fail a defense mission. Tons of common issues that players have complained about. What? Displays shipment lanes so that players can actually see what planets we may lose access to if we fail a defense mission. Tons of common issues that players have complained about ever since the game has been released have either been improved greatly or removed entirely, and it makes the game feel so much better to play. And the improvements don't stop there. Arrowhead has started to buff and improve stratagems, not to curb or deny players that want to use them, but instead to support the way that players want to play the game. As an example, the orbital precision strike was intended to be used for stationary targets. However, skilled players have been using it to be able to take out moving targets by predicting their movements and compensating. However, Arrowhead Studios saw the data, saw how players were using it, and instead of doubling down on their original vision, they lowered the cooldown and the call-in timer so that players could use it the way they wanted to. The same could be said for a slew of other weapons and stratagems that they've changed in this patch. Arrowhead isn't just listening to their audience, they are implementing their feedback and building the game around the way that players want to play the game. While I think it's important to stay true to whatever your creative vision is, you have to remember that players want to have fun. And the best way for you to be able to support that is by making the game that they want to play and supporting how they want to play that game.
Yes.
I think this is a massive shift in perspective for
Yes.
Arrowhead Studios, because when
Bro, like that, I gotta go back and we gotta listen to some of that again. But like like I this is like the third time I'm saying it, but like I said, they're supporting their players in the way they want to play and what they want to do, not just shafting them. And oh my god, this feels so good.
the vision is, you have to remember that players want to have fun. And the best way for you to be able to support that is by making the game that they want to play.
I'm so
and supporting
excited.
how they want to play that game. I think this is a massive shift in perspective for Arrowhead Studios, because when players are doing something that you don't want them to do, it's likely because there's an underlying issue that the players are trying to solve themselves, because either the developer doesn't see it as an issue or the developers are ignoring it entirely. I think a really good example of this is a game like Warframe. Back in the day, players used to use some movement tech to be able to helicopter their way quickly through maps as fast as they possibly could.
Yes.
And it was the fastest way to be able to get through maps. The game was relatively slow at the time.
Yes.
Instead
oh
of
my god.
removing this glitch or bug or whatever players were taking advantage of, this exploit, well, instead, Digital Extremes just revamped their entire movement system to make players have the ability to get through maps quickly, and it changed the way the game is played entirely. It changed the face of the game, to be honest. It doesn't look anything like it used to.
Space Ninjas!
And more developers need to do things like that. And I think that's the direction that Arrowhead Studios is starting to realize that they need to look in as well, is that you need to be working with the players, not against the players. If there's something that's going on and you're seeing that it's not going congruent with your creative vision for what the game is supposed to be like, well then,
as a developer, you have to be able to change your vision on the fly. Like, I've been designing this one game for however long, and like, original design was you're playing as one guy, and then you go to the boss fight, and then you start playing as the boss, and the boss is now the guy you're I'm like, okay, I gotta scrap that idea. Because, like, I tested it out, people were they're like, wait, what, who am I? Oh, it was too confusing, too jarring. So some perspective shifts are a little much. So you have to understand player feedback and know how to adjust those things and keep your creative vision at the same time as changing things.
Realize why the players are doing it, and maybe it might just be that your creative vision doesn't line up with how players actually want to play the game or what players actually enjoy. It's up to you to make the decision on whether or not you want to stay stalwart in that creative vision, or if you want to make a game that players actually want to play. And I think with that change in perspective, we're starting to see the future of Helldivers 2 come into view. If we look at the recent balance changes to various stratagems, as well as enemy spawn rates and what kind of enemies spawn, we're starting to see that Arrowhead is trying to inspire players to diversify their loadouts in much more organic ways than just arbitrarily nerfing the things that everybody is using.
Yeah.
Reading directly from the patch notes. Armored enemy balance. We have toned down the amount of heavily armored enemies like Bile Titans and Chargers on higher difficulties, and instead spawn more hordes of smaller enemies. The difference should be quite noticeable, and the amount should be at least 30% less than before.
Oh my god.
We've also toned down slightly how many Hulks spawn for the automatons. Our intent is to ease up on the demand of anti-tank weapons, and by having more of the other enemies, give better incentive for the group to bring stratagems and weapons that take care of hordes.
Yes.
Patrols. Patrols now are back to how it worked before patch 1.00.3, with some slight tweaks so that levels are less empty if you are far away from important locations with enemy presence. Meaning now players aren't going to have to rely as heavily as they used to on having heavy weapons to be able to deal with the absurd amount of elites that we often face on higher difficulties. Not every teammate is going to need to bring something that can bring down a Bile Titan or a Hulk. Along with these changes, we've also seen major changes to, well, stratagems that are used for taking on larger groups of enemies, like the Orbital Gatling, the Eagle Strafing Run, Airburst, and Machine Guns.
I can use my Hark Thrower again.
Signaling that the way that we play Helldivers 2 is changing. On higher difficulties, you're going to want to have somebody that's there to deal with flying enemies, somebody that can take on heavily armored targets, and those that are equipped with taking out hordes of enemies. Changes like this not only diversify the way that we play the game, they diversify our loadouts, but it's doing it in a way that makes the game more unpredictable and challenging. It's something that's going to bring players together rather than drive them apart. You're more likely to see people cooperating, strategizing, and balancing their loadouts so that the entire squad can be effective, rather than everyone feeling like they're narrowed down to only a few options for predictable threats that we've been running into this entire time. I'll be honest with you, this balance patch and the changes and change in direction for Helldivers 2 was beyond necessary and overdue. This change in perspective is something that only could have come with great leadership, and that was something that was desperately lacking from Helldivers 2 and Arrowhead Studios before, and now we've seen with Johan Pielstedt switching over that that's changed significantly. An update like this lays the foundation for the game to be in a better place when they add more threats for the player to face, whether that's a new faction or faction bosses or whatever it might be. You can't have the game and the game's balance feel in a shaky state and expect that everything's going to be fine when more content is infused into the game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to be like every other live service game that's out there that's failing to meet players' expectations. Helldivers 2 subverts the rule and ultimately made a great game even better. The game hit a rough patch. Every single live service game goes through this at one point in time. I guarantee this isn't the last time the game is going to face some issues. All these games do it at one point in time or another, but I'm happy that the game faced theirs early and got over it as quickly as they did. And I know that was really difficult for them as a studio with the size of that studio and how massive this game blew up at the start. But with that said, I'll be honest, I did not know or think or even, I couldn't even predict to see how much of a massive impact Johan switching over to Chief Creative Officer would actually have. But if this is what they can do in one single patch, holy, what's going to be coming our way? Because like,
yeah,
he cooked. They cooked. This is one of the best updates. This is the best update the game has had thus far. And now seeing the way that the game is right now, one of the other things too that I realize as well is like looking to see like just a balanced patch like this that makes the game feel that much better to play, as well as just kind of like a minor thing that's going on in the community with the, you know, save the kids meme that's kind of going on right now with the current major order.
That's
if
crazy.
That's enough to be able to bring this many players back into the game. This tells me that when they drop a new faction or something equally as crazy, holy, this game will easily shoot back up to 200, maybe even 400,000.
Oh, it's going to be
go
big.
Even higher. Who knows? It just depends on how big it is and how big of a moment it is and how much it transforms the game. But it's just so nice to see them change their perspective on things and look at the players like they are allies rather than enemies, working with them rather than against them. Now, if we could only get them to do that with their community managers and community outreach
and mods, that would be great too, god,
you know.
Bro, the shade. Bro, those mods are fucked. Some of those mods are just, yeah. But yeah, no, give Legendary Drops a like, subscribe to the video. Great guy, good stuff. I watch him on Twitch and YouTube a lot. It's good stuff. Now I got a few videos here. We got, I think, what is that? So these ones are just short. Oh no, that's an hour. So we'll watch that one later.
Hey, what's up guys, Riv here. So just when you thought the recent Gamergate related drama was starting to run dry, we got some crazy stories to cover in this video. Beginning with Black Myth Wukong. This is a much anticipated release for later this summer.
What happened?
It's developed by the Chinese developer Game Science. Now recently this development team has made a wild set of allegations where they claim that the woke consulting firm Sweet Baby Inc., in their words, attempted to extort them for $7 million worth of consulting fees, or, if they don't comply with this, face the consequences of having diversity issues in their game.
What? Wait, what? Okay. Oh, wow. I see. So now they're turning into terrorists and mafia bosses.
This is a crazy story, and once again, Sweet Baby Inc. finds itself in the center of controversy, either due to their incompetence or their employees, or in this case, probably all the above. So who is Sweet Baby Inc. for those who are not familiar? Well, it's a woke consulting firm
Yeah.
that promises a great deal of DEI initiatives, and they consult with various game studios, and they try to figure out how to make the game as diverse and inclusive as possible. And their track record is not
No,
very
thank you.
good. You can see they provided consulting advice for the game Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League with their collaboration with Rocksteady, and that absolutely tanked. In fact, Sweet Baby is so ashamed of this, they recently removed Suicide Squad from their announced project on the public website. And yeah, why would you want to collab with a firm like this? If you're a Chinese game developer, why would you want to work with Sweet Baby Inc., whose latest collaboration...
One, they're Chinese. It's a great point, Rev. Oh, God. No. But, in all seriousness, developer in China typically don't want to work with companies like that. They have their own consulting, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, companies, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know what I mean?
Cost Warner Bros. $200 million. They almost tanked Warner Bros. Because their collab with Rocksteady was a major red flag for everyone. People know that the games that Sweet Baby Inc. work on are likely going to be infected with a bunch of DEI bullshit that nobody wants. And that definitely affected the sales of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So if you're already wary as a Chinese game developer of the...
Okay, I don't even want to talk about the Sweet Baby thing. Like, yeah, they're shit. What's up with their gun? Why? Okay, so why is there not smoke coming out here? The spot where the smoke's supposed to be coming out of as well. And the barrel is on the bottom instead of up here where it should be on the top. Like, the design for this is actually so bad. I just wanted to point that out. Like, it's just like this. Everything about this game is awful. Just everything. Sweet Baby will help with that.
History Sweet Baby Inc. has with their clients, you could also be very wary of the behavior of their employees. We have a whole compilation of 2 employees here, beginning with the Lego Butts individual. Do you remember him from
Jesus.
the previous videos from months ago? This individual said all kinds of disparaging things about white people, about Jews, saying all Jews in this tweet right
Yeah.
here. I mean, if you're a Chinese consulting firm, do you even want to ask what this person's view of Chinese people are at this point? Like, you obviously...
Okay, here's the question. Why do we care about what these people think? We just stop giving them the attention. These chronically online Twitter people. Just leave them alone. Just leave it.
No, it's probably not very good. And on top of that, you have people like Chris Kindred, whose comments started...
I mean, I'm not helping with this video, but...
beginning of the Sweet Baby Inc. controversy when he got his followers to report the then very small Steam group Sweet Baby Inc. detected, and with the Streisand effect, blew that group up. And on top of that, this is the same person who mocked Akira Toriyama after his passing. Crazy people. Why would you want to hire these people to work on your game? It seems like a very bad business decision and also a lot of headaches. And on top of that, Chris Kindred is also dealing with a current controversy involving Smash JT, the YouTuber, because allegedly Chris Kindred contacted his former employers because he didn't like being criticized in YouTube videos. Yeah, that's a story for another day, but returning to Black Myth Wukong, like I said, a lot of people are looking forward to this game, and it's also
leave the mic alone,
followed by these
Stevie.
Claims that Sweet Baby is trying to extort them for $7
When you meow
million.
on a mic?
And this game has gotten praise from Hideo Kojima, who said this. This title has been on my mind since I saw the first trailer about 3 years ago. Black Myth Wukong, its original look, design, coloring, effects, and presentation have an outstanding sense of style that sets it apart from other games. I have also been eagerly following Game Science, the development team. Finally, its release has been confirmed. The theme of Monkey King Sun Wukong is also familiar for my generation. I'm looking forward to it. So that's very high praise from someone like Hideo Kojima, not only for the game, but the team developing it. That's high praise. But people in the comments were leaving rude replies like this, saying, "Seeing you promoting and praising a game studio with such a fervent history
What
of
do you
sexism
mean?
and hatred is..."
What do you mean? What history of sexism and hatred? What the where are these allegations coming from? Where is this coming from, cuz? Where are you cooking, buddy? I mean, you can tell they're not right by their anime picture. Their little picture there. But, you know, it's all right. I'm a degenerate too, but different kind. Let's see what Rev has to say. But like, where is this? Like, what history of racism and history of sexism and hatred? Like, what?
It's really disappointing to me. Now, that might be a bit confusing to you, like what's going on, because this person makes these bold claims with no proof. But if you do some research, here is what they are referring to.
Okay, here it is.
An article from IGN. There's actually a pair of articles saying this: how Black Myth Wukong developers' history of sexism is complicating its journey to the West. What kind of sexism are we talking about here? Well, their evidence is basically some possible innuendos around the office in terms of jokes and innuendos in the game.
What do you mean?
Say, well, this might be proof of a culture of ingrained sexism in game science. So they're making assumptions and leaps and bounds over innuendos around the office and in the game. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And of course, as you might expect, the author of this is private on social media. Just like every other author of these hit pieces on developers and games, they make these incendiary posts and articles about these studios and games and then go private and avoid any accountability and just basically keep their head low until people stop paying attention to them.
What interesting people.
That article and the interaction with Hideo Kojima would be referenced by this post, translated by this user saying this: Chinese media, Black Myth Wukong refused to be extorted $7 million by Sweet Baby. The reason why the team behind Black Myth Wukong has been subjected to persistent sexist attacks and slander since their first promotional video is because they have consistently refused political correctness guidance and rejected the extortionate guidance fees of millions of dollars demanded by these political correctness teams. Actually, such teams are quite common in Europe and America. They interfere with works like Assassin's Creed, Dying Light 2, Stay Human, and God of War by pushing for politically correct female protagonists. These changes are a direct result of the interference and guidance of such teams. Game science teams refuse to communicate with these groups and reject their interference. Most importantly, they refuse to pay the exorbitant $7 million in guidance fees.
My cat's just resting his head on my...
They are being attacked and slandered.
This is
Some
great.
justifications are based on the team's lack of diversity or representation, which doesn't align with the political correctness standards. A typical example is an article by a major IGN writer criticizing Hogwarts Legacy and refusing to evaluate or promote it due to its alleged lack of political correctness. Very, very based if true. This is the opinion of these developers over at Game Science. They sound like they're cooking. And on top of that, if these allegations are true, Sweet Baby has gone into another level where they are attempting to basically force these companies, including Chinese companies, into giving them millions of dollars to inject their DEI initiatives through their woke consulting, and at the cost of what? Potential sales, because they are a blight on the scene. They're a company where if they are attached publicly to a game, people are going to avoid that game because Sweet Baby has such a bad reputation currently.
Yeah.
And also this idea that they might extort someone for money or put pressure on someone to hire their consulting firm, that is not as crazy as it sounds. Of course, like I said, these are allegations, but Sweet Baby has a history of this sort of thing. And it goes back to the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., Kim Belair, because in the past, only a few
She's
years
crazy.
ago, she has made very...
She's insane. Like, don't put her, like, within 10 foot of, like, an actual rational thinking person, because she will then call them a racist and a bigot. Because she's quite literally one of the craziest people I've ever seen on the line. Like, just, wow. Just stop writing. She should be put in a padded room. She should be put in a padded room. I'm just, like, I don't know what else to say, man. Like, it's bad.
Very similar claims and suggestions to other people in the...
I'm ashamed that she's still the same fucking goddamn country as I am.
Industry, that they should put a ton of pressure on the...
I mean, it really does explain a lot. It explains so much.
These companies to hire them under the threat of cancel culture and what might happen to them if they don't comply with DEI initiatives.
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher-ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
What the fuck? Like, bro, listen to that. Just listen to that.
With the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Sorry, I gotta go back for that. Like, geez.
What might happen to them if they don't comply with DEI initiatives?
If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many, many years, put this stuff up to your higher-ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Seeing that, I think a lot of people can understand.
Like, who says that? If you don't give me what I want, this is what could happen. That's a threat. That's pretty much, you're threatening people. You're quite literally just being an insane person. Like, what is wrong with you to think that that is all right to do? That is not rational thinking. I mean, in war, sure. When it comes to, video games, no.
Understand at least where the basis of these claims could be coming from. It's not exactly out of character for Sweet Baby to be doing this sort of pressure guidance where they're trying to force people to hire them under the threat of some greater cancel culture threat. But anyways, Black Myth Wukong, there is a lot of hype around this game, and it's set to release in August of this year. And a lot of people are praising not only the game and some of the promotional trailers for it, but also just the development team, who seems to be actively against cancel culture, political correctness, what have you. And guess what? That's what gamers want. They don't want Sweet Baby. They don't want DEI. They want good games and developers who reject that nonsense. It goes
just make a fucking good game.
Studio can recognize
and we will
that
play.
Their potential customer base is catering towards what they're offering, not what Sweet Baby's offering, not what DI initiatives are offering, what gamers actually want, to get this political correctness out of the gaming sphere entirely. And for Sweet Baby Inc., they just can't avoid controversy, and it's all self-inflicted at this point. It's all their own actions, whether it's as a company or through its employees. When it comes to the consulting they give various studios, they flop. Like Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. That was a major, major flop, and they openly were promoting themselves as the consulting firm.
And like 90% of the games they make are no-name games. Like, they don't even, like, no one knows what they are. Except for the people that want those games. So, like, it wasn't a problem. And until they stepped foot into, like, Spider-Man 2 and shit like that. Spider-Man 2 was an awful game. Well, not awful. It just wasn't as good as Spider-Man 1. Like, that game was so much better.
Working with Rocksteady in the production of that game. And as soon as it flops, well, they remove it from their public website and their list of projects and basically act like it never happened. And on top of that, you have the actual employees at Sweet Baby. They are off the wall. They are saying crazy stuff on social media, saying reckless, racist things, while also chastising a random Chinese studio for not hiring them and their woke initiatives. It is ridiculous. And on top of that, like I hinted at earlier, one of the employees, Chris Kindred, is dealing with their own situation right now.
Oh my
trying
God.
to get people in trouble with their employers by contacting them because the person in question dared to criticize their public behavior in a YouTube video. But like I said, that is a topic for another day. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comments section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
The death of video game journalism. Do you know who killed video game journalism? Me. You know who else killed it?
Yeah. We're gonna watch. Hey. Cat started biting me for no reason.
48.
Okay, I'm not watching that yet.
A few hair-raising things found in these slides. Activision Blizzard strategy. What is all this? Forward, our focus on inclusion, the rundown, our reach, inclusive creative process, celebrating black culture, and it's Nicki Minaj with a gun.
Context. 2 years ago, Blizzard released the Diversity Space tool.
Blizzard released this.
Oh
and,
God.
People were not happy about it. Let's just say this. And this is for Anna. So culture is very high. Race is very high. There are 5 points for women and 0 for men. Well, right. Yeah, I know. That's
What the fuck?
Right. It's simple. They want to have more women and more diverse people that are not white in the games.
2 years ago,
Bullshit.
when Amazon criticized this tool,
How the fuck did this get through PR?
we received an insane amount of backlash, saying that this was just a showcase and that Blizzard wasn't actually using it. As it turns out, just a few weeks after this, Blizzard confirmed using this tool, and today we see the evolution of these strategies.
Okay. Our reach.
Bro, it's. Can we stop? Please, using these charts. No one cares. The people playing your games. No one cares. Look at Counter-Strike. The most fucking popular shooter in the fucking world. You know what there is? Terrorists and police. And sorry, counter-terrorists. They kill each other. That is it. No one gives a fuck if you're black, white, Asian, Australian, fucking Brazilian. Just fucking kill the person because they're the enemy and we're not. That fucking easy. No one gives a fucking shit. That simple. Sell us the shit we want to buy, and we'll buy it. So sell us diversity. I'm a black motherfucker, and I don't fucking care. I'm fucking half fucking German. Do you think I fucking care? If there's a guy I'm playing, oh, he's German, cool. Wow, it's a black German dude. Wow, oh my God. Ooh, I'm losing my fuck. No, I don't give a fuck.
Reach supplier diversity, Women's History Month, Hispanic History Month, Black History Month, our numbers, race and gender, why we track inclusion data, candidate experience, inclusive people monitor for entry-level employees. Can they pander harder?
Thank you, Evan, but like Jesus Christ, I feel like him reading that, I felt some of my brain cells commit suicide. Sewer slide. Sorry, sewer slide. Just, wow. I've become stupider by hearing.
Well, this is the way it is here in the West. And the problem with a lot of this is that it's so detached from reality that it makes the entire product seem artificial and insane.
Yeah.
Because video games
Wow, you don't say. It's like this happened to Redfall, Overwatch 2, the Justice League, like Suicide Squad was about. Like, these games are pretty bad. They're pretty fucking bad.
On these games are so ideologically brainwashed and extreme, I think that they become extremely harmful, actually, even for the ideologies that they're trying to serve. Because what I think is happening, and we're seeing this happen a lot now, where any instance really of like a female character or a minority character is considered DEI. It's considered, oh, it's sweet baby, this game's garbage. If you look at the feedback that they're getting directly from customers, all of that feedback is massively fucking negative, because it's being pushed in a way that feels so artificial that people naturally react negatively to it. I think that
Stevie,
black culture, and you have Nicki Minaj,
you gotta wait. He wants to be fed.
It's completely out of touch. It's completely delusional, and I think that's why people are tired of it. Because
yeah.
I think that at a very, very core level, people can detect disingenuousness and fakeness, and I think that's why you're seeing such a negative reaction to this stuff.
Hey, I want to give you guys a big fucking hint. I have that. I have what she has. I don't care if that's represented in the fucking game. I don't give a fuck.
Right now, it's because everybody sees what's really going on.
We all do. We all see that disingenuousness. We hate it. We're tired. We don't want to see that shit no more. Alright, is there anything else on YouTube that should pop up? We might watch the Bellier. We got a Bellier video, so. Ooh. I'm intrigued. Oh god, yeah, I didn't even go over the Adobe credits. Yeah, Adobe's cooked. I stopped using Adobe like 10 years ago because of like this their switch to subscription. Okay, there's a Doom announcement, don't care. Game ranks. Okay. Oh god.
How Black Myth Wukong developers' history of sexism is complicating its journey to the West. What?
This adds to what we were just looking at.
This Souls-like studio is a studio plagued by claims of sexism. Several posts.
What the fuck is going on with this page? I'm gonna do the smart thing. Do this. Do that. There we go. Less processing power.
Surfaced on Chinese media site written by individuals from the studio that contain multiple references to genitalia and innuendo. This has provoked backlash about some people in the games community, many of whom are women.
So I'm assuming there's going to be a
retarded article of.
Yeah, Asmon. I agree. I'm gonna assume there's gonna be like 2, 3, maybe 15 dick jokes in there. Someone being a pussy. A woman being called a bitch. We're gonna when we play this game, I'm going to make a bingo card for just stupid things. One, I love making bingo cards for games, so I can be proven fucking wrong every time. And then, yeah, that should be fun. But yeah, no, it's people probably making jokes at the studio. Like it's stupid. They have a different culture there. Leave these people alone. They already deal with one oppressor. Let's not give them another fucking deal.
Ever read in my life.
Context. IGN published an article trying to smear the company and the devs behind Black Myth Wukong as some sexist freaks because...
All right, there it is. Yeah, she's being called a bitch. She's probably evil or some shit. I don't remember. She's a snake, so, you know, probably.
Some of their employees' social media posts. The article cites one of their artists.
Oh. That, okay. The snake spirit is different from what I imagined, but if I cover the bottom half with my hand, it's still possible to jerk off. Yo, that's fucking hilarious. See, they're making jokes like that. That's just a guy making a fucking dirty joke. What's wrong with that? You know how many guys make... Okay, it's fucking stupid. They're being stupid.
One of their artists who basically did the still wood meme about this monster. The problem is that this game journalist, either by sheer incompetence or malice, completely mistranslated all of these posts and added words to them in the most uncharitable way possible.
Oh.
This is nothing compared to the most egregious mistranslation.
That's even worse.
After one of the game company founders posted this in 2020, apologizing for the lackluster trailer of Black Myth Wukong just released. Now, how on earth do you get?
I want to expand my circuit to hire more people. Get licked until I can't get an erection.
What? Yeah, yeah, that's totally what he said, guys. That's totally what he said. Let's not go back and retranslate this. Let's not make sure that he's saying, I want to get licked until I can't get an erection. I really think, guys, that's what he said. He said it 100%. Guys. Oh my god.
In reality, the actual translation completely changes the meaning of what he was saying. Not satisfied, I went back checking if anyone...
Oh my god.
Someone called this out when it happened, and they did.
I can't believe that there's a person like this
That's
that has
funny.
access. IGN needs to have this person writing guides on the banana game. Maybe they could...
Bro. Fucking not wrong.
could handle that. Please take the keyboard away from this person. That featured images and headlines that point to a culture ingrained in sexism in game science.
You know what they would say about the banana game? The banana is a representation of man, and man is better than woman. And they use the color yellow because yellow is... They form some form of crazy connotation or some fabricated delusional story that they could come up with. I'm just saying, if they can say people making a meme joke is fucking problem, they can find a problem in anything.
Recruitment posters by the studio. Do we have a link to the recruitment posters? We do not. This is unbelievable. In the eyes, oh, here we go. IGN spoke to several women familiar with gaming culture, as well as the games and technology industry in China, many of whom requested to be anonymous for fear of backlash from fans of game science. In the eyes of many female gamers, has a notably negative reputation. Citation fucking needed. What a bunch of fucking freaks. You can see how this person is trying desperately to avoid a defamation lawsuit, plagued by claims of sexism, some in the games community, many of whom are women, in the eyes of many female gamers. So every single statement that's made is made with a qualifier that basically avoids legal liability. Well, guys, I was already gonna buy the game, but I think now I might have to buy it twice. Holy shit.
I don't think he's
Dragon Age
joking.
is an extremely bizarre
Okay,
franchise.
this is what I was
It
looking at
truly
earlier.
is.
This is what I
You've
want to
got
see.
Origins, which is one thing. Then Dragon Age 2 has a pretty damn different tone to Origins. Dragon Age Inquisition, again, different. Very different to Origins. And then you've got the stuff on Netflix. You've got all of the extended universe Dragon Age that exists. And a lot of it's been quite different in tone. And that does mean that one of the greatest traditions of liking Dragon Age for its fan base has kind of struck once again. And that is the reveal of a new Dragon Age. And
Yay!
from all sides,
No one cares.
Everyone know what they think about it. And this time,
It's
has
not good.
definitely been more spiky than most. And there's a clear culprit. It's the trailer. You've seen the trailer. I've seen the trailer. It's a pretty awful trailer, in my personal opinion. I think
It's pretty awful. It's abysmal. Like,
me,
they should never have released this. What were they thinking? Who let them release this? Who said this was a good idea? Who let them believe? You know what it was? It's probably Sweet Baby Inc.
basically says, don't play this game. Things will, though, get a little bit different as we look into all the detail.
When I see this, it screams Suicide Squad. It screams Suicide Squad. You know how bad that is? You know what that means? Stay the fuck away. Starfield looks like a better game than this. Starfield looks better than this. Boring flight simulator and walking sim is better than this action god-awful RPG. No one wants this. No one asked for it. Who said this was a good idea? Whoever buys this, you deserve to have your money taken from you. You just a fool and their money are easily pardoned.
The trailer was controversial. It led to a lot of comments. It led to a lot of articles, a lot of op-eds. PC Gamer, man, they really decided, this is not our sort of thing. And face value, I agree with them. Like, yeah, that totally looked like the trailer to a modern hero shooter to me. So, let's talk about it, right? The history, the reveal, the backlash, and of course, a bit of the recovery. The level of damage control that I think BioWare's people went into, it's almost admirable. Like, they realized this had blown up in their face, and very rapidly people were springing to action. And we've even had the likes of David Gator leaning in with some opinions. And this all very much includes the fact that this is not the first time that this has happened, even with a trailer for Dragon Age. I'm not talking about Inquisition, I'm not talking about 2. There is a Dragon Age Origins trailer that you're going to see later, and is going to give you a chuckle. It very much failed the game that it was selling.
Yeah.
Like us, where I've got today's sponsor. So, spam, unwanted calls, all of that stuff sucks. And one of the big reasons why it happens is, well, data leaks, right? Data leaks, and then like vultures looking for meat, data brokers harvest that data up, and then somehow you end up getting a whole bunch of spam. Now, the good news is you've got the right to get that stuff removed, but the downside is doing so takes hours, and that's where incogni.com/Bellular News comes in. The deal is they automate the whole process for you, and code Bellular News gets you 60% off an annual plan. Whenever I signed up a while back, they immediately found me in 48 data brokers, they sent 42 takedown requests, and they completed 6. Checking in more recently, they'd sent 44, 6 are in progress, and 38 had been taken down.
Nice.
And the most recent one was kind of spooky too. I looked up their site, and they're called Crosswalk Technologies, and they had this quote, dynamically monitors the digital behavior of over 100 million consumers worldwide. That's what was on
That's
the
fucked up.
site. So suffice to say, I'm glad to not be on their list. So, by keeping you off those lists, your data is more safe, you're more secure, you get fewer annoyances like spam mail calls and emails, and also they keep you off those really creepy, like, person tracking sites like Being Verified. I can't believe those even exist. Anyway, a downside to the industry is
What the
whenever you
fuck?
are taken down, you can just be put on a list again. What Incogni does is they take you down, and then they keep you down by rescanning the brokers over time. You can get that done for you
That's fucked up.
automatically by giving them a shot today at incogni.com/Bellular News. Code Bellular News for an exclusive 60% off.
Yeah, that's looking like a real
Bit of history. So, Dragon Age
feeling
Dreadwolf
thing to
has
do.
been re-revealed and renamed, right? It's now called Dragon Age The Veil Guard. Everybody, I think, agrees that the at the very least, is really awkward. That said, if you remove the from it, you do end up with an abbreviation, Dave, which I think is kind of funny. But to recap, Dragon Age is the original IP role-playing game that BioWare first released in 2009 with the first entry.
The name of the game's Dave.
And console-based, real-time with pause combat CRPG, very much in the style of their previous outings, the likes of, say, Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights. But of course, Electronic Arts get involved. You see, Dragon Age Origins did pretty well. Then, Dragon Age 2 was rushed into existence. They made Dragon Age 2 in under 18 months.
Jesus.
Right? And that was by 2011. So yes, within 2 calendar years, there was a new Dragon Age game out. Dragon Age 2 was pretty damn controversial, especially with the people who loved Origins. Some did like the more like action RPG like oriented combat. And let's just say the constraints of having the one location and their they're absolutely ludicrous dev cycle, like what EA allowed them. It did lead to some innovation, but most people would definitely say it's the black sheep of the franchise.
Yeah.
Then you move into Dragon Age Inquisition. And all of this happens in an era of EA owning BioWare that is just absolute goddamn chaos. I mean, even with Dragon Age, like, Dragon Age...
This game was...
sort of almost say, hey, we still do CRPGs, even though, yeah, obviously, Mass Effect is turning into more of an action shooter. And this was an insane period for EA. I mean, they mandated that Mass Effect 3 came out basically 2 years and 2 months after Mass Effect 2. You know the way people had, like, let's just say feedback about the ending of that game? Well, it was pretty much done in a weekend because the entire thing was crunch. It was insane. But then we moved from Mass Effect 3 and the Unreal Engine to Frostbite. Frostbite, of course, damages Mass Effect Andromeda. It damages...
Oh, we don't talk about Andromeda, boys and girls. We just, we let that one lie. That, I was working at a GameStop at the time when that game was coming out. Wow. I've never seen so many people dissatisfied with a game, and myself included. But wow, it really takes a toll on your love for games at that time.
Dragon Age Inquisition, and it damages Anthem. So Inquisition launched in 2014, and with that game, the focus basically went to more of a third-person, big zone-based sort of open-world style, still an action RPG, and definitely with quite a lot of MMO DNA there. Now, it's a game that if you kind of play it in the right way, you can have a lot of fun. If you just stay in the hinterlands forever and try to be a completionist, there's a chance you'll be bored to tears. Now,
Yeah.
It is a game that sold really well. It was actually the best-selling in the series. That all meant that a new Dragon Age was bound to happen, but of course, this was a time of absolute sheer hell and chaos. So, Dragon Age 4 started development, and
2014
thanks
this
to a
came
very
out,
long
wow.
report in 2019, we know that this game was rebooted multiple times. At one point, it was actually a multiplayer title.
Yeah.
Remember the multiplayer push? Like, in fairness, the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer bit, it was actually kind of fun, and some mad bastard did actually spend 14 grand on its loot boxes. But still, this was an era that worried people, especially
Jesus.
and in many ways, it was a casualty of BioWare and EA's gambles with Andromeda for Mass Effect, from BioWare's essentially B team, like a sort of a newer formed team, and then, of course, the Anthem team continually being failed by leadership.
Oh, yeah.
Even though they had a lot of cool tech, and yeah, the robot suits look pretty sweet. So there's a lot of chaos there. Then we move to 2023. There are layoffs happening across EA, and with those layoffs, many of BioWare's long-term staff get fired. And that includes people who are like directly linked to some of like the absolute fan favorite characters in Dragon Age. That very much means that audiences have been primed to be skeptical with Dragon Age 4.
Yeah.
It's had tumultuous development, multiple reboots, and really, faith in the company pretty much collapsed. And so it's in that rather sticky position that we get to the reveal. So we had the name change, which I think was a bit confusing, and there was a confirmation, right, of full reveal with 15 minutes of gameplay happening June 11th. And that meant that everybody thought we'd be getting a cinematic trailer in either Summer Games Fest or Xbox or something like that. But okay, big focus on the characters, the companions, and that does make a hell of a lot of sense. What is the game that has absolutely exploded in the last year that is all about the companions? Obviously, the answer is Baldur's Gate 3. And do remember, an entire generation of players have grown up without the release of a Dragon Age game. There are people who were 10 years old when Dragon Age Inquisition came out who are now 20, and they are having this game be marketed at them, and they probably didn't play Inquisition when they were 10, which I know is a bit spooky and distressing, but time is time, it is what it is. Though the thing is, for that...
That's crazy to think about.
What marketing are they used to? And I suppose for a D&D adjacent, well, in this case, literally a D&D example, I'm certainly thinking of the marketing of the D&D movie, which is a movie that seemingly landed pretty well with its target audience. Maybe that was a bit of an inspiration for this one. And of course, it's still a BioWare game. Now,
you expect that in the quirkiness and like kind of
and companions. So
fun to be had with D&D.
In light of marketing trends with younger audiences and Baldur's Gate 3, you can see how a bunch of people signed off on that. But of course, we then have the trailer. It gives us a rundown, a brief one, of each of the companions doing something cool and action-related, showing the breadth of the world while they get a big, flashy name card, just so that 100% you know who that character is. And the thing is, for that audience, like, we did try and find the people who actually liked this trailer, and it basically seems that all of those things worked, and I don't know, now they're all kind of just doing, like, horny fan art of those characters, which does make a lot of sense. The whole thing was narrated by Eric and Scout Harding. They are both, like, they are characters that have been sort of fan-favorite characters, and that means that for the truly engaged audience who spent a lot of time with them, especially through the spin-off media, like the comics, the Netflix anime, novels, that sort of thing, they'll like that. But then to some other people who'd like, okay, I'm hearing these voices that I recognize, but why does everything look like a hero shooter to me?
Yeah.
To people not being comfortable with this, and a general audience revolt, basically.
I feel it didn't feel genuine. Like, the game didn't feel like it had any, like, how do I put this in the words exactly? Didn't feel like it had the characteristics that make Dragon Age Dragon Age. That dark fantasy element was completely removed, along with the characters feeling hollow husks of what they are. Because Dragon Age Inquisition, like, gameplay was not the best. The characters carried that game so hard. The voice actors any great.
Of the characters compared to the perhaps realistic, they thought, or remembered models from previous games. Of course, you have a rather over-the-top Bowie anthem. Now, hey, I love some David Bowie, but yeah, I thought it was absolutely shit for this. I thought it was terrible. I thought it blew. The name cards, again, they look like they're a Fortnite thing or an Overwatch thing. And just look at the thumbnail. It's
like, oh my god.
And, blah. I mean, it looks like the sort of thumbnail.
She's ugly as shit, dude.
To catch your attention, but not really something.
I can't tell if that's a woman or a dude.
Next entry in your dark fantasy RPG. So really, for a lot of people, this was the proof that they needed, right? That all of the things that could go wrong have went wrong, and the tone has doomed the game. But that's actually not the first time this sort of thing has happened. I'm going to take you 15 years back in time. So yes, we're now back in time. Welcome to 15 years ago, and we have this. And I'm just going to play a bit of it for you.
2009. Everybody, yeah.
Yep, that's a trailer they made for Dragon Age Origins. It almost reminds me of like the almost dubstep stuff they put in the Warcraft movie, where you're like, excuse me, what are you doing? This is insane. And this is where I'm going to bring in David Gator. David Gator was the lead writer in this franchise. He basically created the setting, and responding to this, so somebody basically posted this saying, this is one of the screenshots they released. It looks awesome. what's the disparity between this screenshot and the like reveal trailer that we just saw? It looks like two different games.
It does.
So David Gator responded to that, calling out another really bad trailer. He said that's always the case. Dragon Age Origins' first trailer, first couple actually, were made by Blur and couldn't have been further from what the game was actually like. And when you actually, again, look at this trailer, I mean, it is bad, guys. It's bad, and it definitely is not Dragon Age Origins. But that's basically the thing. It's the year 2009. Killzone, Arkham Asylum, Infamous.
Yeah.
This is an era where mature meant things needed to be dark, things needed to be edgy. Whenever our characters were in a fight and then had a conversation later, they would just statically have a blood decal all over them. It was an era of awkward genital geometry and, of course, a little bit of the old dry humping when it came to the mature adult scenes. Something that's always been, I mean, kind of hilarious in the Dragon Age series. But the thing with Origins,
I like the trailer.
It still was campy at times. It had this long-running, sort of nonsensical gag.
Enchantment! And there you have it. Enchantment!
So, marketing can't target everybody, and it's incredibly easy to get marketing wrong. And
Fucking hilarious.
All of the stars aligned, they just happen to align in the wrong direction. That's the thing. Gameplay is ultimately what most of us care about. I mean, yeah, some CG trailer, who really cares? What we care about, like, does it play well? Are the characters well written? Is the setting interesting? Like, that's what we give a shit about. The thing is, though, trailers are important for tone and hype. So the tone information that a trailer gives you is going to influence what you expect from the world, the writing, the characters, and all of that stuff. And that
it's
is why
very
this
important.
trailer was, I think, one of the most calamitous failures. So the trailer's a disaster, but a trailer is not a game. BioWare knows
It was tone deaf. The trailer was completely tone deaf. It looks nothing like what we're seeing. I mean, the art style is still the same, but like, it's just, wow. Music, style, everything.
the game is, and they're basically left thinking, right, what the hell do we do with this? This is a little bit of a disaster, because this is the game that is going to save our company's public image, because again, Mass Effect Andromeda, Anthem, you all know what's up, right? Now, of course, you can't spin up an entire new brand identity within 24 hours. But they really did their best. They began to flood the internet with actual screenshots, gameplay, and feedback. And, I mean, it's not like those were just created from nothing. Evidently, people had these assets ready, knowing that they looked pretty good. And who knows, maybe even within BioWare...
It's not gonna work.
The team knew the trailer would be a big
First
surprise,
impressions,
and
man.
they did ready themselves. That's obviously hard to know. What is clear, though, is that BioWare took this stuff very seriously. So, I'm now going to talk about what we can tentatively call the recovery, but I'm not saying that with the presumption that you think it is recovered, because...
No, it's not recovered at all. They are quite literally drowned.
There is still a lot of angst and a lack of trust out there. I'm not trying to speak for you. It's just like the clear campaign from BioWare to try and recover the image and to sort of communicate what this game actually is to players. So almost immediately, they relaxed a non-disclosure agreement that they had with the Community Council, which is basically creatives and fans who had been advising them and giving feedback throughout the game's development. Those people immediately began answering questions from people. Then they also started to loosen restrictions on press being able to talk about their gameplay experiences at Summer Games Fest. So that did mean more good information got out there, but I mean, come on.
Not enough, man. The game doesn't look good. The combat looks awful. It looks bad.
You do think of the Nerd Crew.
It doesn't look fun.
Media, right? Like, you do kind of think about that.
I'm
What they then did was they
disinterested
doubled down.
in
They started
everything
using
with this game.
Screenshots to highlight that that cinematic is not the style of the game world. Because again, if words aren't going to help, then, well, maybe pictures would. And when we look through these screenshots, they look way better. These environments, they look big, they look gorgeous. And one of the interesting things they revealed is actually, no, these are in-game screenshots. There were some things they showed off, and I just kind of assumed that that was like a visual target or a mock-up. But no, it was actually the game in engine, and that is pretty damn impressive. Which itself is a funny thing, because this is a game being made in the Frostbite engine. Frostbite has caused so many problems. I mean, yes, especially for the Dragon Age franchise, thinking about Inquisition and the crazy things that heroic dev team had to do. Because seriously, it's a
I just feel like The biggest problem is like they've made the first impression that's so awful, people don't want it now. And like if people want that experience that you're trying to try and provide that Baldur's Gate 3 has, people are just gonna play Baldur's Gate 3. No one wants to play an shitty made action RPG with graphics look is terrible. It doesn't feel good. Like it doesn't look like it plays well enough to like sit there for 50, 60 hours. Enjoy. Helldivers 2. It's a very fun game. You can sit there for doing the same things for 50, 60 hours. Don't think you can do that in this. What the fuck's going on with the internet here?
Inquisition even came out, given the technical problems they all faced. But it has been a lot of time. A lot of workers went into that engine, and they have built a lot of tools. So it actually seems like they may be able to get the benefits of the Frostbite engine. Finally. But you know what? Static images don't really tell you how something's going to play. You need moving images for that. And 24 hours before they were going to do a proper reveal, they just actually went and showed off 24 seconds of gameplay. Of course, Varric's there.
Yeah.
You can see what it looks like. You can see characters wandering around. And it's a pretty damn visually rich scene. Again, subjective, right? It's in the eye of the beholder, but I think we can certainly say that's very high.
It looks a generation late.
Big-ass world.
Like, this looks like it should have come out, like, 10 years ago, like, 5, 6 years ago.
But again, it's not combat. They then did show off the combat, and I will get into that. But so, we're here in an interesting sort of state, because they also actually recut footage to have an extra 5 minutes over the originally planned 15 in their gameplay trailer, so I've got to imagine they just thought, oh shit, we need to give them more gameplay. They're really not buying this, we need more. If Veilguard, I'm dropping I'm just calling it Dave now. If Dave is not the cinematic trailer, then just what the hell is Dave? Based on everything that
It's just gonna catch on.
This is Dragon Age Inquisition in style, but it's not on the Xbox 360. I mean, look at the difference in thumbnails, right? Like this one, it's Varric, and he looks pretty dour, which is pretty much what you're going to want from this franchise.
Like, what is this? No one wants this. Just okay. I'll give you the biggest problems we have with this image here. One, the character looks like shit. Fix the character. Do something else with it. Have it pull out something. It's so uninteresting. Who was thinking? Two, the purple around these images, way too much. I'd rather see what's going on in the background and then have the white text over here or something, like just doing whatever it is. The name is shit. Change the name. Great. Pausing and unpausing videos, it's great today.
Gameplay reveal has helped. So the gameplay trailer has eclipsed the reveal trailer, 1.8 million after 2 days, compared to 1.7 million in 17 hours as of the time of this being written. It will be different as of the time of this going.
Jesus.
So basically, the gameplay trailer has thoroughly trounced the reveal, which is good. It's far better, and definitionally...
People have a better opinion, I'd hope, of that then.
And this has actually led to some better reactions. Some are seeing the more input-focused combat, and there may be things like Final Fantasy 16, but it turns out, actually, the tactical pause for abilities is still there. So it's absolutely not Dragon Age Origins in any way, shape, or form. And it's not Inquisition. It is definitely far more close to like a modern action story-driven role-playing game.
Like,
so
this feels like a worse version of Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, am I stupid to think that? Because Guardians of the Galaxy was like a great game, but like this feels like a worse version of it. Like, everything about this, like, if we go back here. How is this taking forever? I'm gonna change the quality. I'll pull up a screenshot right here. Oh my gosh, what is it? Guardians. All right. Where is it?
Hi, I'm Patrick Fortier, Senior Gameplay Director on Marvel's
Watch
Guardians of
this.
the Galaxy. In our game, you play as Star-Lord, and in this video, we're going to take a look at how you call the shots in combat.
Yeah, boom, right there. Look at it. It's a worse version of something we already have. Ah. Ah. Wow. Wow. Who would have thought? So not only is it trying to just look like Baldur's Gate, it's acting like something that we already have. Bravo, EA. Shit in the bed again. I'm not playing this game. If you guys want to play this game, you can play this game. Fool and their monies are easily parted.
And it's not Inquisition. It is definitely far more close to like a modern action story-driven role-playing game. So the question then is that something that you would actually like?
No.
A lot of people are saying that, you know, it was inevitable. It was always going to turn into Mass Effect. And I understand why that is a strong criticism in light of what many people loved about Origins. I will certainly say I really like Mass Effect, right? Like
I do, but
Mass
I don't want
Effect
that
2.
in
And
this.
while the gameplay doesn't look like some sort of amazing character action game that's absolutely going to blow minds, it does actually look to me to be potentially quite reasonably good. Obviously, I need to get my hands on it, but you're telling me
There's too much clutter going on the screen. If you're going to put this much on the screen, you have to darken the screen to make it easier to visually see and identify objects. This is a key component in game design. People that are sensitive to colors and have a hard time like myself, distinguishing between certain purples and blues and reds, are going to have a fucking problem seeing what's going on all the time. Yes, these things are identifiable. But the line that goes between this, yeah, you can see what's selected, but it just doesn't look good.
Things here that we cannot tell, but if I get that, it's story-driven, pretty good combat, decent progression, that could end up being quite a solid gameplay experience.
Why is this here in the center of my screen?
Thing that actually caught my interest the most, though,
is
that this is far less of an open world game. It is mission-based. Now, there are like side objectives and that mission-based structure that can be a little bit more branching out, but very much you have your home base, and then the game is mission-based with sometimes larger, sometimes less large locations, which to me does seem, well, I mean, I don't want a pseudo-MMO at all, so this seems way better. Better, but it's not Origins, and we got to talk about that. Why is BioWare not making a sequel to Dragon Age Origins that really does just fulfill the potential of Dragon Age Origins?
He said it. He said it. Why not just make the game that everyone wants? Why not make the thing people will buy? I wonder, EA, why aren't you making something people will spend money on? It makes no sense.
The CRPG. Origins was great, but it did have its flaws. It was rough around the edges. You know, it was a game of its era made by BioWare, probably with a lot of BioWare magic, allowing it to come together at the end. But the thing is that now people have seen pretty much, I don't want to say the greatest CRPG of all time, because a lot of people will come in and say, excuse me, Planescape Torment, but Baldur's Gate 3 is amazing. So why aren't they doing that? Why are they making Dragon Age Mass Effect? I mean, there's literally market proof that CRPGs do well today. But obviously, we only know that now, and this game was greenlit.
he's about to say it. The game was like made years ago. Like they've been making it for years. Baldur's Gate 3 only came out recently. But I mean, you could look back to what was it? 2018 around. They did the early access for no, it was just before 2018. Some 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. They did the early access for Baldur's Gate 3's first act. It went super well. That was market proof that Baldur's Gate was a great game. Like, people wanted something like that. But, like, I'm trying to understand, why wouldn't they just go back to something like that? We have so much. Just all people want is a fantasy CRPG.
A long time ago. So thinking about the greenlighting process and the sorts of discussions that would have went on, well, guess what? Well today. But obviously we only know that now, and this game was greenlit a long time ago. So
I love this fight. This fight is so good. This has to be one of the best fights in the game.
So thinking about the greenlighting process and the sorts of discussions that would have went on, well, guess what? Inquisition sold more than Origins. You could definitely say it's more accessible and approachable, so that's probably why they went in that direction. And also, BioWare have not made a traditional CRPG in 15 years.
No.
They don't have it anymore. Like, the things you need to make one of them, they don't have. The technology, the tools, all of their stuff, everything in their company, those assets, like their, their tools, stuff in engine, it's all been to make games like Inquisition or like Mass Effect. So that probably means if they went to do a CRPG, you're going to be looking at a little bit more technological and design risk, because the expertise has very much left BioWare, and
anyone that wanted to make the games is gone.
A lot of that has made its way to Larian. So while winding back the clock, maybe changing the Electronic Arts acquisition and how a lot of things went, while that would be awesome, and look, I wish that we got a Mass Effect 3 that was in development for 4 years instead of 2, right? Or 3 years instead of 2, where be just, fully realize all of their ambition and the things that they wanted to do. Like, I wish we could change those things, but
this just doesn't look good.
They don't have the expertise, I believe.
The enemies in freaking Inquisition look better than this.
CRPGs in the way that they did in the past. There are teams currently making fantastic CRPGs. Owlcat Games, Larian, and there's other ones. And if you kind of have rediscovered the CRPG via Larian, well, there are so many other games out there: Planescape Torment, Pillars of Eternity, Wasteland, and all the other stuff that Larian has done. Divinity Original Sin, Divinity 2. There is a hell of a lot of good content out there. Also some stuff in the 40k verse as well. So where I hit this is basically, if they do Dragon Age Mass Effect, I could very much be down with that, provided the writing and the world building is good. That is the thing that ultimately matters for me. The combat looks, at the very least, serviceable plus to me. If it ends up being fun, then that's fantastic. I'm
not a fan.
The ability of action combat is necessarily a bad thing. I mean,
made that clear.
Action combat's really fun. Again, has to be good. We have to play it, and we haven't played it yet. At the very least, if we go to some of the people from Larian, there does seem to be quite a lot of excitement there. Cromwell calling out that the gameplay trailer looked cool, and I certainly think he's right. The gameplay trailer, for me, was far more successful than the awful initial one. The good news, though, everybody, is that
Pride Demons looks like shit.
Wait here. Autumn 2024 is when this game will come out. And because it's like a, it's a narrative game, it's a single-player story game, or RPG, you do not need to pre-order it. In no way, shape, or form do you need to pre-order it. In fact, I think if you're interested in this at all, say, okay, if it's good,
watch someone else play it.
Then you'll probably get the game 30% off, and you'll probably get it after loads of bug fixes and optimization passes, so it'll run better in your hardware, and you'll literally just have a better time for less money.
Yeah, this game just does not look like it for me. Definitely not playing that. But yeah, that's pretty well the gaming news we got. Unless we want to sit down and watch the worst MMO, but I'm not looking to do that. Right. Where is it? Just updated it. There it is. See what the update is like. A few missions and then probably do something else, but at least see what's going on. Why can't I? Holy crap. Can I guess I just scroll. Wow. It's not gonna let me update. I'm gonna have to go through here. I don't want to edit layout. I want to edit stream. What? I love when my stream has just the simplest of issues. There we go. There we go. Why is it full screen? There we go. I'm gonna change some of the settings here. Okay. Holy shit. Okay, we got a lot of stuff. Give me a second. Adjust my settings, graphics. That should help with the game. Running smooth. Let's see. Oh no, that is not running well. Okay. Let me just this. What is going on? This is not supposed to be happening. I'm gonna have to. Look at that. That. And relaunch. Why is it opening in fucking... Oh my god. Why is it doing this? Stop doing this game. Why does it feel slow? Stuff's taking a while. Okay, so I've only missed 2 war bonds. I really couldn't care for a lot of this stuff. Should be able to just get through most of this. Nice. It's the last page. I almost have enough super credits. Alright, that takes care of most of that. I almost have all of this. I don't really care about the armor. Yeah, so I got most of that. Okay, I have all the super credits in this. Oh, crap. So I'm on the last 3 pages of this one. An emergency distress call from the burning walls of Scar says that the civilian survivors trapped and remains. Very sick. And super citizen ants hospital for very sick children. Food and water supplies are dwindling. Alright, I'm ready over Marfark. Let's see, is the stream well? Okay, that's streaming. No, everything's going. Oh. I'll even run the game on low.
Allied destroyer has joined the squadron.
Welcome, brother.
Allied destroyer has left squadron.
He left right away.
Allied destroyer has joined squadron. Engaging orbital thrusters.
What's going on, guys?
Orbit synchronized.
We got a long.
Helldivers to Hellpods. Repeat. Helldivers to Hellpods.
That might be a good spot. I'm thinking here. I'm thinking over here, boys. Ooh. Ooh. Look at that. In and out, boys. Oh shit, we got the new cannon. Oh shit, we got some new cannons. Yeah, Quasar. I like big explosions and I cannot lie. You other brothers cannot deny.
Hellpod launch initiated.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, boys. Who's the fourth pod? There's no fourth pod with us. Yo, so anyone know who that fourth pod is? Like, there's only 3 of us here, right? Like, I think that might be a mistake. Escape, follow. Yo, bro, you're on the wrong mission. You wanna go, like, 6 degrees over to the right? Fucking weirdo. I don't think my stream should be taking up that much resources. My mouse just, it feels like it's not reading well enough. Hey. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to restart my PC. It's been weird. I forgot this game is hell from the start. Yeah. Bro, okay, yeah, I gotta restart. This is being really weird. This way, now jump. Oh my god, game! Oh my god. Yeah, this is super laggy for me. For no reason. Whoever threw me here, you bastard. Anyone want to fire at these guys? Like, yeah, these guys are... Whoever K4 is, they're not good. Yeah, you're gone, buddy. Oh, he took my guns too. What a fucking knob. Holy fuck. Grab my shit and immediately die. What are you doing? Oh my god. Eesh. Yo, you guys gotta res me. Like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing. There you go. Not a graphics issue. My graphics card isn't being overrun. It's quite literally. Something's eating my processor. Yeah, those guys just spawned. Okay. Ow. Game! Oh my god! I did not dive in the barbed wire. Yeah, that's laggy as shit every time I fucking spawn. Well, I gotta run. Muscle memory's coming back. Come on! Holy fuck.
Calling in reinforcements.
Oh my god.
Calling fly.
I can't. Oh my god. Yo, what the fuck was that? Why did I? Am I unable to aim? Yeah, fuck you too. No, I can't see it either. It's kind of fucked. I'm super laggy today. I'll restart my PC after this. Like, I'm gonna input delay like out the ass.
Dropships.
Oh my god, it's input delay! Oh my god.
Injury? Oh, don't do my Quasar cannon. I wanted that. Stupid.
E3. The third time they've done something stupid. Excuse me? There we go. I got rid of that fucking asshat, bro. Oh my god, this input delay is actually fucking cancer.
Stuck? Oh no. What the hell is this? It's floundering.
Get some! Get some! Changing ice!
Yeah, I'll come take a look at this.
What?
There's like a helldiver thing stuck in a hell pod.
Oh, I've had that happen a few times.
Oh, it's gone.
Backpack inbound!
Uh,
Support weapon! Mark location.
oh my god, where's a thing that... What? I didn't throw it at the ground, I threw it at them! Man, this has been horseshit fucking around.
Throwing grenade!
Okay, if we can just get through. Oh my god, this input delay! It's like, oh my god.
Oh, there it is.
Look at these strafing tactics.
Throwing supply beacon! Calling in reinforcements! Budget depleted.
I see the stratagem jammer.
Oh, I'm here. I found the anti-aircraft. There's one left. My dude blew the other one up. I got it. There we go. It's gone.
Oh my god, thank you.
All the 500 kg ones. Where's the resupply at? I need that.
Sending in an eagle!
What the fuck's wrong with this guy? Resupply's over by D3.
Too late. I ran past a heavy devastator and it got me.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of bots bugged by me. Like, and I mean
That's
bugged
every match,
out.
though.
Like, very bugged. Like, they're attacking air.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like,
This is a
meleeing
really
air.
fun match, it seems like.
Yeah. I've been experiencing 100% input delay, so been a fun game. If you could call having to like swing your mouse
It's
extra
actually
hard.
probably the worst match I've had for bugs yet.
This is yes, yeah. I don't think I've experienced anything worse than this. Oh, there's a tank now, great. What's our mission? That. Someone look at their launch codes? And someone dropped the res there, I gotta...
Okay, there's 3 of us now, okay. I thought there was
Yeah.
just that one guy left.
Rare sample acquired.
And I'm dead. Bad luck.
What the fuck? This game is so bugged. Oh my god. Let me live. There's input delay. Let me fucking scope. Oh my god, we gotta get rid of this jammer. We gotta get rid of this jammer. We gotta get rid of this jammer, man. Oh my. Oh no! You can bring him in D3. Why would he? Oh, okay. I gotta fucking. Now I'm dead. This is actually brutal. I just wanted to like try the game out, see around, but it is absolutely brutal at this. I will be back. I'll just restart the stream.